Hello, welcome to the latest Minisode from Dissonant Waves. My name is Dominic. Trex is here.
This is a real last minute pivot.
Yeah, we're doing a last minute little charade shuffle. We're gonna put our next episode off a little bit, and we're gonna for this week gonna talk about instead. Hold on, I got some feedback here.
We are going to talk about a movie that I saw the first like 40 minutes of when I was like 7 at my uncle's house.
Yes, we're gonna talk about the Mary Harron directed movie based on the Bret Easton Ellis novel, American Psycho. And then after that, we're going to go into our 2023 summer draft pick of Fifth Wave Emo albums, which we're going to have fun
Yeah,
doing and cover that for a full
we are.
month. So there's still use getting out of this episode. We're still moving forward. Our Radiohead, Muse, the Smiths, Ballpark Music episode we're gonna do after that whole month of music of Fifth Wave Emo stuff. And that'll
Yeah.
be fun. That'll be fun. It'll be our first time putting off an episode that we've previously scheduled like that and coming back to it.
I vote we call next episode the move I'm gay and just do an edited version of that meme.
Yeah. Okay. You mean that for like the for the emo stuff or the one after it?
Yeah, for the first episode of the emo.
Got it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We could figure that out.
Yeah.
But we Ritz is out with some stuff going on. Hope he feels better soon.
Yep.
In the meantime, though, we both decided to watch American Psycho because we've talked about this movie here and there. It's pretty infamous for its memes involving music and the scenes from the
Yeah.
movie.
And
And
we kind of just do horror movies when we have nothing else to do.
yeah, that it seems to be our shtick. That kind of seems to work for us analytically for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah. Every now and again, we just got to throw out a little horror minisode.
Yeah, our Halloween and horror movies episode or minisode is still our most popular one. Don't get that, but hey, thank you
Yeah.
for listening.
Thank you for listening and thank you for enjoying our weird takes on horror.
All right, now Tricks, as we've talked about, you have seen part of this in the past. You saw it at your uncle's. It was a pretty traumatizing experience overall.
Yeah, it was. I was like 7. It was like, if I had to guess, it was somewhere between like 2006, 2008.
Yeah,
I
so
was,
a few years after it came out, but not
yeah,
an amazing amount of time.
yeah. I was at his apartment in Staten Island, and he pulled it up on one of those like old school sketchy sites where you could just watch movies.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and we got like halfway through it before my mom's like, "I think this is good for them."
Only thing I
My
remember,
mom was always lax about stuff, but like, she was right.
one thing I
Even at
remember
24, I'm like,
from,
"Oh, that's a rough scene."
oh yeah, 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 yeah. When I had an uncle when I was a kid. He passed when I was pretty young, but my only memory really from his apartment was the fact that he had the two VHS Titanic release,
Ah,
and me learning about what two VHSs meant and how special that was. That was cool, but a very different experience than yours.
yes. I will say I will be working. I need to return some videotapes into my lexicon.
Yes. You had a positive experience this time, maybe.
I did. It was a great movie.
Oh yes. Uh, Once upon a time, this was one of my favorite movies, and not because of the whole meme. Like it's such a fucking meme to be a fucking Andrew Tate bro and like a movie like this, right?
Yeah, it's Gen Z's Fight Club.
And the movies came out a year apart, so it's
I know, but it's weird that Fight Club is more. I associate more with like millennials, Gen X,
yes,
American Psycho, more Gen Z.
yeah, because the memes of like the cards, the business card scene of the
There's
whole.
a musical of this movie, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. God, having a like I'm sure the score for the Huey Lewis scene is fantastic.
I honestly want to do it because there's a whole musical number based on the business card scene.
Oh, that's fantastic. I would love that. Separate note from that, this is part of my unofficial Jared Leto in his prime trilogy, when Jared Leto was a good actor in indie movies and not what he is today.
Yeah, not Morbius.
Yeah, and Fight Club was the first one. This is one of the either the second or third one, and then Requiem for a Dream is the other one. In which, if you just watch those three movies when you're younger and have no
You're like,
conception
oh
of who he
shit,
is
this Jared
outside of
Leto guy
that,
is great.
you will think he is a brilliant actor, an amazing, just, indie guy that is landing all these great movies, and then you see what happened later on. It's like, oh no.
Yeah, it's especially funny because he seems like he's like, I don't know, 32 or something. The dude doesn't age.
Yeah, he's like fucking 50 years old, and it's like, wow. In some ways, I feel like he became a real life Patrick Bateman. Not
Yeah.
completely, but in more ways than I'd be comfortable with.
Yeah. Have you seen that meme where it's like or it was like a Tumblr post where it's like your favorite is non-binary and it was Patrick Bateman is non-binary. And then the top comment was just that's Urza Miller.
Sure, yeah, yeah, that in a way, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because it was interesting is like part of the whole central conceit of the movie is that Patrick Bateman is a person who feels nothing and is nothing.
Yes.
He barely exists as a person, and that he is corporeal. You can talk to him, but he does not have emotions, does not care about you, and just seeks to look good, have greed, have disgust.
Yes.
And it is a fascinating takedown of masculinity and like just male societal norms.
Yes.
And it's doing the same thing that Fight Club is doing in a sense, but I think in a more fun way, like a more directly delicious way.
Yes.
And I read the novel in high school, and I saw this movie back then. So like this is 10 years ago. When back then I was just really into like transgressive fiction. I really wanted to know about the world as it was. I wasn't like going for like, oh, this is how I should act as a person, more or less of just like, this is how I believe people really are. This is how people can be.
Yeah.
And so stuff like this always fascinated me because it was like I don't want things to be sanitized or neutered down for me, even though I was like a teenager, right?
Oh yeah.
And so like my understanding of the movie has definitely changed, and it's interesting in the ways that it has because like even just like the conceit of like, did Patrick Bateman actually do the things that he did?
Yeah, and that's a good that's a fun part of the movie trying to figure out if anything actually happened because he's such an unstable narrator.
Right, and it's so easy to be like, oh yeah, it's filmed, so he did it. But it's very
Mhm.
careful about like just showing you things, and then it's like
Yeah.
that could be a moment of him just like imagining it or not.
Yeah, like I'm it's kind of obvious one of the more fake scenes. But it's still a fun scene, the whole rampage scene towards the end.
Oh yeah, like that has to be like the moment when you're like, wait, no, he couldn't do that.
Yeah.
He's not gonna just unload a single clip from a pistol, not reload, and then all of a sudden a car explodes.
Yes. And
Things like
keep
that.
getting bullets out of that gun.
Yeah. Now, in the book, Brady Snellis's book is a little more. It is meant to do this, but it's a little more straightforward and a little more. I don't know. It has that bitingness about like those fucking Gen X fucking Wall Street assholes, but Brady
Yeah.
Snellis as an author is a little more up its own ass, I would say.
Yeah.
Whereas this is based on the screenplay written by Mary Harron and Genevieve Turner, and then Mary Harron also directed it, and she's a fascinating director. I quite like some of her work. Um, she's a major female director, and she was for a long time a music critic. She worked for Punk magazine and was like instrumental in like writing about punk and interviewing like the Sex Pistols early on and stuff like that.
I didn't know that. That's fascinating.
Yeah, so so her career is very much rooted in the music world and like coming up in that. And her this was her second movie. Her first movie before this was called I Killed Andy Warhol. Or I Shot Andy Warhol, which is about the assassination attempt on Andy Warhol and like Valerie Solanas, the person that did it. And so in a way, it's like you can very easily see the transition from like, okay, this kind of real life story to this fictional tale of like this maybe murderer, maybe not.
Yeah.
But this is her best movie. This is her most famous movie, and for good reason. It's fascinating.
Yes. I would like to just say that Christian Bale, phenomenal actor,
Yes.
really really showing the breadth of his skill
Oh
in this movie.
God, you can see why he was cast as Batman.
Yeah, like this movie just shows the future of his career.
There's so much poise and like directed poise, specific poise. Like he had to both act proper but act like he was acting proper.
Yes.
Because so much of Bateman is just him putting on the mask and going out there in society and doing the thing, and you know he's doing that.
It's also worth pointing out he's English too, so he's doing an
Yes,
accent.
and he does not break at all.
No, he doesn't. My father didn't know that he was English until he got an Academy Award.
And like there like scenes like the famous Huey Lewis scene where he goes through a lot of things and has that really like enunciating bravado of just kind of informing you about his opinions on four and sports and all that stuff. Like
Yes.
that'd be so easy for him to slip to like a British accent a little bit here and there and some of the pronunciation, especially with all the physicality he's doing of the dancing around with the accent and all that stuff. And it's like, nah, he totally is totally
Yeah.
there.
He
Um,
is.
yes. Now, also interesting to mention, I believe at least at the time of this, it still might be true. Yes, that his mother-in-law was is Gloria Steinem. Yeah, no, he's actually her stepson. His father married her,
Hmm. Something
and
like that.
yeah, I quickly looked at it, but uh,
Yeah.
there was a lot of backlash to him being cast in this, and the fact that this movie is being made at all because of how violent it is toward women. But I think having it written by two women and starring the stepson of of a feminist activist kind of also shows the direction it's coming from.
Yes.
You know, of like it's not seeking to glorify what Patrick Bateman is doing as much as lampoon it, make fun of it, satirize it.
Yes.
And having read the book, there is so much in the book that is worse. He goes into so much more excruciating detail that it in some ways Patrick Bateman is way more tame in the film.
Not a surprise.
Like there's a chapter with a rat that I'll talk to you about off air if you like.
Okay.
But that rat does things that you can't really describe on a podcast like this.
I think I can put it together by how you're saying it, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But that chainsaw scene definitely stands out, and the kind of the things he's doing in that scene, definitely memorable.
Oh yeah.
Is like that's another probably one of the most intense scenes where it's like Patrick Bateman is, picking up women and directing them and doing like a pornography type video, at least for his own pleasure and all the things
Yeah,
he
where
wants them to
he's
do.
pretending to be Paul Allen.
Yes, because so much of the movie is him covering for the fact that he murdered Paul Allen.
Yes.
Maybe. Well,
Maybe. Who knows? Maybe he did actually leave for London. Who knows?
but I thought I remembered watching it originally, and like in the last scene, you saw Paul Allen again, but it's only mentioned by voice that like, yeah, I ate with him in London like 10 days ago,
Yep.
and that's kind of the reoccurring thing of like he keeps hearing this, but you also know that everyone mistakes everybody for everybody else in that world, and
Yep.
it's the common misconception that Patrick Bateman is somebody else, that Paul Allen was somebody else anyway, so you don't really know if that's true or not, and neither does Patrick.
Yes.
So, but of course, the reason we're talking about it too is just the impact it has on music and the internet's perception of music criticism, I want to say.
Yeah.
Uh, in the book, there are these scenes, but they are taken the form of just literal essays you're reading about Bateman's opinions of Whitney Houston or Genesis or Huey Lewis. They're just aside, like a whole chapter of just him going through it. And in the movie, they're replicated by the fact that he's telling people about it, and usually he's going
Yeah.
to murder them after. But it's a really cool way of incorporating something that is kind of extraneous, but also super
Integral.
informative. Yeah, integral and informative of who Patrick Bateman is. Like,
Yes.
for whatever reason, he just really cares about music and really wants you to know how into commercialism he is. And that ties back into him wanting to fit into society and like touts anything that will do that.
Yeah.
Um,
And
Go
the
ahead.
whole movie is also kind of a satirization, or and even the book, I'm sure I haven't read it, of just kind of that 80s stockbroker yuppie culture.
Yes. How many times does he bring up Donald Trump in the movie?
I lost count a bunch of times.
Yeah, it's like, is that Donald Trump's car? Is that Ivana Trump over there? It's like,
Yeah.
oh god, man.
Did not age well, or did it? Who knows?
It's like the thing I would say though is that Patrick Bateman types still really exist, and it
They
is
they do.
it is kind of that Andrew Tate bro class of people. I think
Yes.
that have convinced themselves that they are the alpha, that they are the peak of male culture and all that stuff. But it's different because for Patrick Bateman's class of like Wall Street yuppies, they were just self conceited and, at least in Bateman's case, knew all the right things to say. Like
Yes.
the first scene is illustrated is Patrick Bateman in a conversation with somebody and it's like, hey man, cool with the anti Semitic remarks.
Yep.
And he knows all of the right things to say. He has a whole speech about feeding the hungry, ending racism, supporting equal rights for women, and then like the whole movie is just showing that he does not give a shit. Where
Yeah, it's all performative.
Yeah, whereas the Andrew Tate crowd, they openly do not give a shit about that.
Yeah.
Well, for the most part, speaking generally, right? And I think that's like the big difference of, hey, that's the revision you didn't quite expect, perhaps, of this generation of this type of person. Don't
Yeah.
get they openly are shitty and don't give a shit if you know.
Yeah. I will say I kind of find it funny that this movie has kind of I almost inspired the whole Sigma male sort of grind
Right,
set setup, which is it's just now having seen the movie, it's an interesting like I can it's weird that you would empathize with this character, but at the same time I kind of get it.
right, because like I can imagine being young and impressionable and being like, this guy has it all together. And this guy,
Yes.
he doesn't, he has some problems, but he's putting a face out there to the public, the society that makes him look successful. And really,
Hmm.
in 1987 or whenever this takes place, a Wall Street businessman was like an influencer, or at least they thought
Yeah.
of themselves as that of, giving advice and being really rich and famous and successful or for not really doing very much. Like he's fucking 27 in the movie, which is depressing to me. No,
Yeah. It's like, oh God, I'm 24. I'm not gonna be there in 3 years.
I'm
I have
28.
nothing
I
to
was
not
not there
buy.
last year.
That's all I can afford.
Yeah. So it's like, God. And I was thinking about what would a modern American Psycho remake be, and I can just see like influencer version of Patrick Bateman existing, and the movie largely playing out the same way. He just can't get
Yeah.
fucking canceled.
Yes.
And I think if there were this is to be redone, a major component of it would be discussing being canceled, his fear of being canceled, but for some reason
He keeps trying to get
achieving
canceled.
never achieving it.
Yeah.
And then the ending would be just him begging to be canceled, him literally doing stuff to be canceled.
No, notes app Twitter.
Right. But like no one's taking it seriously. The big confession will literally be just like a big apology post.
Hmm.
But they're like, then people just be like, "Oh, funny joke. What the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah.
Great cast.
Oh, absolutely.
Willem Dafoe is there.
Yeah. Who? Massive hog. Willem Dafoe.
Oh yeah, and he's like the only person that might know what's going on. but also might
Yeah.
not. But like, obviously Jared Leto in his prime, Chloe Sevigny, Justin Theroux, Reese Witherspoon,
Yep.
and then it's all just centered around Christian Bale. And I what Christian Bale in a performance I think was worthy of like some kind of Academy Award or something.
Oh, absolutely. You've heard the story about the about the business card scene and how he learned how to sweat on command.
No, I didn't know that one.
Yeah, he knows how to sweat on command, and he uses it in this movie just because. And it was like when they'd start filming, he'd just start sweating.
God, that is such expert control of your body.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
I'm surprised you didn't know that one. I felt like that's a common fun fact.
I probably like have read that before and forgot.
Fair enough.
Because with Christian Bale, everyone knows about him gaining and losing weight numerous times. Everyone knows about his infamous blow up on the set of Terminator Salvation,
Yeah,
and
I
obviously,
actually kind of forgot that that was him, if I'm gonna be honest.
I just remember when that fucking came down in like 2009 or whatever. Like that was me in my early years online, not really experiencing that many like breaking celebrity incidents.
The only thing I remember about it is that it was referenced in Duke Nukem Forever.
Oh my god, I kind of want to play that again to see where it is.
I tried playing it on the hardest It's like right at the beginning, but
Why would you play it
I
on the
tried.
hardest difficulty? Holy shit.
Yeah, I tried playing it. I got stuck on the first boss because there's a hard time limit on it for
Yeah,
some reason, just on the hardest difficulty.
yeah, that's fucked.
Yeah.
But it was like over a light being moved or something like that, or a light that was, yeah, like a crewman was like doing something with it that was like interrupting, I guess, Christian Bale's like performance. He
Hmm.
just goes off on this crew member for no reason, or not for no reason, but like just in a really just shitty way. And it was just
Yeah.
recorded and posted online pretty quickly. But you know,
That would absolutely cancel an actor nowadays.
yeah, no, like I don't remember explicitly if there's anything super terrible in it, as much as it was just like a big shitty moment.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna like stake a claim to that. You know, do we look enough alike, you and I, that we could like conceivably pull off like a Patrick Bateman, Mark or Marcus Habersham kind of a thing?
Honestly, yeah. We're both about the same height. We're both heavy set. And we both wear glasses, so
I just cut my hair a bit.
yeah. Because I just shaved mine off pretty much entirely. I'm short
Yeah.
hair now.
Oh, that'd be interesting, like for a Halloween thing or something.
Yeah.
And then we just keep being like, we'll have to go return some videotapes.
Yeah, we like
Ish.
we try and go to the same Halloween party, but we just keep trading out or something.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I don't know. What else do you want to talk about with the movie?
Uh, I don't know. It's just it's a phenomenal movie. It's
Do you like having the chance to see it now finally?
yeah. I told my mom about it, and she laughed because she remembers that too.
Yeah.
Oh, let me pull up the conversation on my phone. I downloaded it at work last night.
Yeah.
Because it was like downloading American Psycho because I never actually finished it back when Uncle Matt put it on that one time, and then she just gave it the laugh reaction. And she's like, "I will tell him that." So
Fair enough.
yeah, it was good to finally have closure on it. I I uh I didn't really remember too much of it, if I'm gonna be honest. I just remembered the scene where he kills the homeless guy, like
Yeah.
vividly.
Yeah. That is definitely a scene.
Yeah.
Uh God, that literally gut wrenching.
Yes.
There's also the stray cat scene is iconic.
I panicked when I saw the cat. I'm not gonna lie.
That's fair.
I, I held Monty close.
And then the ATM is just like, feed me a stray cat.
Yes, and thankfully the cat is fine.
Yes, because he could not physically stuff one into the card slot.
Yep.
Which the movie is willing to stretch things out and make you suspend your disbelief a little bit, but That would have been
Yeah,
too far.
it would have.
Instead, he just starts killing people. All of the moments where he just like speaks his mind or like says like the thing where you like if you were there you might be able to hear it differently or is just so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Like I'm into murders and executions. Oh, how do you like it?
Mergers and acquisitions.
Yeah, really clever writing. Really just really adapting that novel with a take. And it's very similar to Fight Club in that way of just like trying to direct it in a specific way to try to be a serious yet satirical look at something. Where,
It,
but like, whereas Fight Club is a little more
uh,
dry.
I haven't read the book, but I read Starship Troopers and watched Starship Troopers,
Yeah.
and Paul Verhoeven is just making the jerk off motion with his entire body while trying to make the point that Heinlein did.
Now that might be a trilogy of movies to talk about.
All right.
These like super heavily satirical, but horribly misunderstood films.
Yes, because I remember I was watching Forgotten Weapons, and they were
Mm.
talking about one of the rifles that the U.S. military almost picked up, and one of the notes for why they didn't pick it up was it's not Starship Troopers enough.
Oh my god. Yeah, I have not seen Starship Troopers, even though I probably would very much enjoy it.
Oh, it is biting satire, because the whole critique of Heinlein's book Starship Troopers is that you cannot contribute to society unless you've been in the military.
Yeah.
And Paul Verhoeven read the book, hated it, and is like, "Okay, this is what we're doing." And it's the whole satire on, "Oh, you can't criticize the government unless you were in the military."
Yeah, and Paul Verhoeven is a fascinating director who was really ahead of his time in a lot of ways.
Yes,
Doing fucking RoboCop and like Showgirls. I wish I liked Showgirls more than I do
yes,
because there's some fascinating stuff about Showgirls and what it was trying to do for the time, but just didn't quite do it for me. And then this
yeah,
coming out right afterwards and not getting like seen as like the satire that it was supposed to be.
yes. There's also the sequel we should maybe look into at
I
some
was
point.
literally about to mention that. You know, I would love to cover with you the my Jared Leto trilogy. I'd love to cover with you the satirical movie gets misunderstood trilogy. I would not like to cover necessarily the sequel, American Psycho 2,
Yes,
starring Mila Kunis and
yes,
William Shatner, I guess for some reason.
yeah,
Uh, it came out a couple years after. It is directed by Morgan J. Freeman, and goodness, it has Mila Kunis and William Shatner, and it has a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
yeah. I've heard it's horrible.
I am sure it's horrible. It's direct to
But
video.
at the same time, I'm immensely curious.
It was supposed to be like an original screenplay that had no connection to anything, but of course Lionsgate was just like, let's do some synergy and tie it together.
Yeah, let's slap something unrelated onto it.
Yes.
Hollywood did a Hollywood.
Because why not try to make some money on it, even though you already know it's dead in the water?
Yeah.
It came to Blu-ray in 2017. They definitely had to do that intentionally.
Yes.
There was no just like, oh, it came to Blu-ray very early on, and it was just part of the stuff. Nope, nope. 2017, they had to specifically want to do that.
Yep.
I know that there are other books that may or may not be tied to this. Bret Easton Ellis is very controversial. I kind of hate him, but like, I think this is his most famous story. Less Than Zero, I know, has been talked about. Did a couple others that are somewhat important, like The Rules of Attraction, but this is the one.
Yes. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't read anything by him,
That's totally fair.
and the only thing I know about him is that I listened to a podcast a while ago where people were upset that he was always on like the New York Times bestseller list.
Yes. And he is queer in some ways, but that's always been a oh, he did come out as gay finally. Let's see.
Yeah. Which
But
same thing with Chuck Palahniuk, Fight Club.
Yes. Yeah. So like
which
again, very similar stories in some ways.
yes, which the only thing I've read by him was the short story Guts, and I was so disgusted.
That checks out.
Have you read that one?
No, I've not read Poloniac at all.
I it focuses on like teenage guys jerking off,
Oh, sure.
and the whole thing of the thing is that the main character uh like to go in his pool and have the drain suck at his ass,
Amazing.
and
Oh, it
I'm
sucks
sure
out
you
his
can guess why
guts.
it's called
Yeah.
Guts.
That reminds me a lot of the Davey Havok novel that I read. The guy who's the frontman for AFI.
Hmm.
What is that fucking called? Oh shit, I can't remember. But it's just about teenage guys jerking off, having sex, and watching movies with girls, and calling themselves like famous director names because they're so cool and edgy.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like, God, what the fuck, man? That's fuck these characters.
Yeah.
Pop Kids. That was the first one he wrote. Yep, there we go. Wrote a second one, Love Fast Los Angeles, which I still have to read, even though I do have that. I believe I still have a copy. We need to do the Dissonant Waves book club at some point.
We should. I've been meaning to read House of Leaves lately.
Yes, I still want to do the where we do House of Leaves and do that Poe album. Oh,
Yeah.
maybe this year or next year we should commit to like doing that as our Halloween episode and giving ourselves like the year to read the book or like the 10 months or
Yeah.
whatever. I think that'd be a fun challenge.
That would be.
Like, okay, I don't know if Fritz would enjoy it or join in or not, but right, for Halloween, we're gonna cover the book, talk about the album. We have 10 months to get through it.
Yes.
Enough time that can't get through it. I don't know what to tell you, but
Yes.
we'll talk more about that at some point.
At some point.
Any last things you want to talk about with American Psycho?
I wish I watched it sooner.
Yeah, the fact that like DiCaprio could have been doing this and that like Oliver Stone could have directed this, I it
Yeah.
would not have been the same movie at
It
all.
would not have been. It needed Christian Bale.
Yes, and God, does it really connect with people today? And I love that it does.
Yes.
Anyway, great movie.
Great
Would
movie.
recommend if as long as you know that it is a satire meant to be seen as such,
Yes.
and it does not in fact endorse the things that Patrick Bateman does.
It does not.
Now, on to our other order of business then. We are coming up upon the month of June. It is currently June 4th, and we are going June 3rd, 4th, whatever. And we're going to do a whole 4 week cycle of choosing some albums for the fifth wave emo scene, doing like draft style, so there's a ton to choose from, and kind of
Yep.
having fun with it. Really diving deep into the genre, covering new stuff, old stuff, kind of just doing the sports thing because the sports thing is fun, hopefully.
Yeah. This is the closest we get to sports.
Yes, the queerest
Actually,
way
that's why I
possible.
like baseball.
That's fair. Yeah, fifth wave emo, inherently a queer thing. And, for doing basically this is our Pride Month celebration, but not being a Pride Month thing.
Yes.
And I'm gonna read out. So wait, actually, what this is gonna be is that for the next 4 weeks, we're gonna have two lists. One is going to be of legacy picks from throughout the fifth wave emo scene, as well as adjacent stuff kind of released in the emo scene in general around that time, but mostly like that fifth wave thing we go for. Then the other list will be stuff specifically released in the last year, from like the end of 2022 up till now.
Yep.
And both of these lists, we start with 20 picks. And every week in this 4 week cycle, I will be adding about five more, plus replacing whatever gets drafted. And so at the end, we're going to have a ton to pick from, and just whatever we want to explore, we can do that.
All right.
So I'm going to read off our current lists as they stand. Uh, the 20 entries in the legacy picks of this fifth wave BMO Summer 2023 draft, they are A Basement's No Fun EP, Ogbert the Nerd's EP, Weather Days Come In, Origami Angels Gen 3, Rookie Cards for Ryan EP, Oolong's About Your Imaginary Friends album, Origami Angel Broke Minecraft, Soak from Guitar Fight with Fooly Cooley, Lobster Fight's first album, Black or Pink, Black, and Orange in the Corners, Ogbert the Nerd's album I Don't Hate You, Asian Glow's Call Fickle, Hey I Love You's Internet Breath EP, The Civil War in France self-titled, the Paranol Asian Glow, Sonhos Tomam Kanta, that's I don't know how to pronounce it exactly. Their collaboration album Downfall of the Neon Youth, Five Pebbles Forget Me Not EP, which is like Weather Day doing some stuff, and then as well as the Asian Glow Weather Day project, Weather Glow. Some stuff from Postcard Nowhere, the Juvenilia demos and B-sides and other rarities album, as well as the at the same time released Sinner album that came with Juvenilia that we haven't covered yet. And Through the Soil 2, going back to Through the Soil that we covered a couple of years ago now, and another collection curated by Postcard Nowhere called The Light. Now, the entries from 2023 include self-titled by My Olden Days Garden Path, Chinese Football's Win and Lose album, Glow Chord End of the Year, Red Heart, New Year, Black Heart, a Glow Chord compilation, Autumn Rain's Coughing Roses EP, Rust Ring, North to the Future, EP by 40 Feet to Go called The Warmth That I Felt As I Crossed the Frozen Tracks, I Am Humming Your Song, That Same Streets EP, Electric Angel, the new EP by Gingerbee, Our Skies Smile, Summer 2000's Live at Crying Obsidian Fest, Paranol's live album After the Night, the new OK Cool EP or album or whatever you want to call it called Fawn, the self-titled Forest Spirit Sun on Your Back album, Crimson's Visual Snow EP, Halter All Shoots For What, a Polish band called Prepozny or something like that, their self-titled EP, Spring 2005's Ellie Kemper, Catching Techniques Something About Sports EP, Autumn Rain's Exit the Paradise EP, Carter C's Northern Songs, and It's Okay, I'm Fine's Your Worst Fear Was Having a Song Written About You, so I wrote these songs about you EP.
As an aside, a quick joke about the Polish one. Ted Kaczynski showed the links to what you need to do to have a Polish name pronounced properly in America.
Yes, and as a man with a Polish last name, I understand that pain quite acutely.
Yeah.
Ironically, not knowing how to pronounce actual Polish words does bite me in the ass, though.
Oh yeah.
It is very fun though when I meet Polish people and they know how to pronounce my last name. And I'm like, we're gonna be talking about that for like 5 minutes. Got it.
Yeah.
Since Ritz is not here, he has already submitted his picks because our gimmick this week is that we are to kicking things off. We're picking one entry from each list, and where is it? Ritz has chosen "Hey I Love You's Internet Breath" EP from 2021,
Hmm.
as well as the Chinese football album "Win and Lose" that came out on December 31st.
Hell yeah.
Now, Trix, do
Yes.
you have your picks? I'll let you start with
Yeah.
the first one.
I'll start with my legacy pick, and it's an or an EP I listened to after we covered them the first time. I'm going to be doing "Soak" by Guitar Fight from Fooly Cooley.
Is that an album or it kind of straddles both lines, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's
Album EP.
27 and a half minutes.
Yep. So it could go either way.
Yeah.
All right. You've picked that. I am picking the Weather Day album Come In because I want to cover Weather
All
Day
right.
finally.
Fair enough.
And what is your other pick for the 2023 stuff?
I'm gonna do OK Cool's Fawn EP.
All right. That I think was probably the easiest one to pick.
Yes.
And part of me was like, I want to wait on this one and do it with because I know we're going to be covering the new Home is Where stuff later on and kind of have like a head-to-head all-star kind of thing. But it is what it is. We're gonna have fun
Yeah, I
covering
figure
Okay
we should
Cool.
give Home is Where it's time to shine.
That's fair.
Because I feel like Home is Where is gonna just dominate anything else.
Maybe. I think we'll still have fun with it though.
Oh yeah.
So, the three legacy picks that have been chosen this week are Weather Days Come In album from 2019, Tart Fight from Fooly Cooley's album Soak from 2020, and Hey I Love You's Internet Breath EP from 2021. And then this year's picks are Chinese Football's Win and Lose album, OK Cool's Fawn EP, and God, where is my pick? Oh, I didn't choose my other pick. Sorry. I want to do. Let's do the Polish one.
Okay.
Prozny or something like that. I'll figure out how to pronounce that for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we're gonna go through 4 weeks of this, and then get back to the episode we've already announced.
Yes.
But in the meantime, do you have anything else you'd like to talk about or discuss?
Uh, Not particularly. I mean, I think we covered everything we needed to talk about.
Yeah, I guess that'll do it for us. This is truly a mini-sode. We're ending it pretty nice and tightly.
Yeah, less than an hour.
Yep, my name is Dominic. You can catch me online at DACICHOCKI on Twitter. I have a YouTube page, Dominic Chikoki, and go there if you like. There's a short film I did on Beat that's interesting, and I'm also on the Games My Mom Found podcast sometimes. We just did an episode about Kingdom Hearts 2 that is now available.
I've been Tricks. You can catch me on Twitter and Blue Sky if I ever get an invite code. Who knows? Uh, you can check out our merch on Redbubble. Buy a clock with our logo on it. We have our website, dissonantwaves.space, and our just our YouTube and whatnot. Yeah,
This stuff will be included in the description below.
absolutely.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. Have a great morning.
Have a good morning.